All right. So, what we have already learned about your immune system is how important your skin is. Today, however, we are now learning about what is under your skin. And so, the reason I smacked myself was to actually trigger my inflammation response. And so, as you can see here, I took a picture of my arm right after I recorded the last video, is you can see, right, that it is inflamed, it is red. And so what I am going to be doing is I'm going to walk you through all the parts of your body that actually now are accumulating under my skin, because this is how your body continues to fight any pathogen that might get through. All right. So what are our learning goals for this? Number one, I want you to know what your inflammation response is in a very simple way so that you can explain it to others. By the end, you should be able to say, oh, well, basically your inflammation response, and then, two quick sentences that will explain it. In addition to that, I do want you to be able to answer some more detailed questions, but I don't expect you to have any of this memorized. You're not going to be answering these questions from memory. You're going to be able to use this presentation and videos to help you answer the questions. So two things about this. Number one, I'm going to go pretty fast. If this was in normal class time, I would go slowly. You would be talking back and forth. We would have a lot of interactions. But since that's not possible, you're going to be doing this on your own. I'm going to go pretty fast, and then you can pause it and rewind it as you need to. Also, you may not like this presentation as much as you like the videos you're going to watch next. And so for that reason, I'm going to go quickly in case this doesn't end up being a great resource for you. The other recommendation is watch this through completely from beginning to end, watch the video beginning to end, and then start answering the questions. Focusing on the parts that you need to answer the individual questions. All right, and then the last thing I'll say is, as I go through this, there's a couple items that I basically are a review of things we've already covered this year. And so at the very end, I'm gonna have you answer some review questions just to reinforce what we've already learned. Okay. So this is a visual presentation. There are slides of what your skin looks like. So anytime you see this image, that is representing what your skin cells are. Anytime you see this, this is another type of cell called a mast cell. These are blood vessel cells. These are leukocytes, also called neutrophils, which are a type of white blood cell. These are going to be your macrophages. All right, and so anytime you see this sad purple face, that is a pathogen. This is the enemy of your body. This is something that will make you potentially sick. However, I do want to point out one thing. Here I very clearly say these are all types of cells. Not all pathogens are actually cells. Only 4 of the 6 classes of pathogens are actual cells. And then finally, I'm just including these here. Later on, we're going to talk about them, but I know some of you know something about T cells and B cells and know they have something to do with your immune cell system. So I figure some of you might be like, why aren't we talking about B cells? And so the reason is we're going to actually talk about it when we actually get to the part 2 of your immune system, the adaptive part instead of the innate part. One really important detail that I would like to point out. So you will notice right here, this is the color I have used to represent skin. Well, it's very simple. Number one, I know this is not what skin looks like. I could have obviously picked any of these skin colors to represent the color of skin. But the truth of the matter is, I didn't actually create this presentation originally. This is one of my old roommates, and he was visiting me the day before I had to present the immune system, and he has a really strong background in immunology. He's a professor, currently at actually Johns Hopkins University. And so I was like, hey, would you be willing to sit down and, put together a small presentation? Because he had other presentations that he already did for his classes, and he was like, yeah, okay. So he went ahead and put it together. And so he went ahead and made the choice to actually just pick skin color that represented pretty close to what his skin color was. So that is the statement I am making with the choice of skin color, not that I'm saying that this is all skin color. It is just simply the skin color of the person who created this presentation. However, by the way, one of the more interesting historical blunders that different companies have made is Crayola crayons used to actually sell a crayon called Flesh Color. And as you can see, they clearly are choosing which color Flesh is. And I actually had this crayon in my 64 crayon box when I was a child. So anyways, moving on. So, all right. So this is what is going on with your skin. And so all I'm basically pointing out here is, of course, you know your skin has skin cells. Their names are endothelials. But those aren't actually the only cells that are in your skin. You have mast cells, you have macrophages, and then underneath your skin, you have your blood vessels, which of course are providing all of your cells with glucose and oxygen. And oh, by the way, there's actually even other cells that are in here. Some of you will remember the melanocytes, which are responsible for making melanin. And the reason I don't include them is because they're not part of your immune system. So that's why I don't show them, trying to keep things simpler. All right, so boom, you get an injury to your body. So when I smacked my arm, what I did was I started the inflammation response, which the first step of it is right here. So what you see under my arm got started here, all right? So typically what happens is the reason your immune system, your inflammation response is going to get triggered is because a pathogen gets into your body. So if you get a cut, pathogens are going to enter. And so what happens is most of the components of what is about to be under your skin is in your blood seconds before it. And so when you get an injury of some kind, your blood vessels actually get leaky, which means that things that are moving in your blood vessels a second before are now going to start to leave your blood vessels and move to the site of the injury, of course, to try and kill the pathogens. All right. So now is, of course, a really good time to talk about what a pathogen is. I'm just going to give you two simple definitions. These are my definitions. There's the official definitions, but basically a pathogen is a disease-causing agent, or another way that I put it is it's just something foreign to your body that can actually make you sick. So that's basically what a pathogen is. And so examples of pathogens are bacteria and viruses. And I'll be talking a lot more about pathogens in the next presentation. All right, so one of the review questions at the end, last time when I was talking about your innate immune system with your skin, I mentioned that there are 6 or 7 parts of your body where your skin isn't actually protecting you and viruses can get in. So in this model, I am modeling a pathogen getting in through a cut, but there are actually 6 or 7 other ways for them to get in. So at the end, you're going to please tell me what those 6 or 7 ways are. All right, so at the same time that your blood vessels become leaky, these cells right here called mast cells release a protein called histamine. All right, and so histamine is sorry, I wanted to point this out real fast. So I didn't actually have an injury. There wasn't a need for my body to launch an immune response. Your immune system is so powerful that it often launches responses to things it doesn't need to. And that's what your allergies are. So if you're allergic to cat dander, what that actually means is anytime you get cat hair in your body launches an immune response against the cat hair, thinking it might be a pathogen. And so antihistamines are drugs that people take to help with allergies. And so I want to point that out because that's what the mast cells are actually releasing is histamine, because histamine is an important part of your inflammation response.